After a rigorous internal debate, I've narrowed it down to my top 3 favorite anime destinations that I believe belong on every bucketo recito. Yeah, hello and welcome back to Kinda Neat. If you're as big a fan of slice of life anime as I am, then chances are you've dreamed of embarking on an expedition outside the safety of your bedroom and into the real world. And don't worry, I won't send you on a wild goose chase out to the middle of nowhere just to stand outside a random middle school with your camera feeling like a creep. Who'd want to waste their precious time doing that? All 3 locations in this video will be full-on day trips with their own unique Japanese experiences and activities that even non-anime fans would enjoy, so feel free to trick your normie friends into coming with you. First on the list seems like it shouldn't exist. The only thing better than a melon pan is Azusa's tan. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you've definitely heard of the legendary Toyosato Elementary School, home to everyone's favorite band, Hokago Tea Time. Built in 1937, what was once a thriving school full of kids enjoying their youth, drinking tea, and occasionally playing light music, is now eerily empty, sort of a ghost town. In 2004, a more modern school was built a mere 200 feet away. But rather than tear down the old Gigi, the town chose to preserve the historic school for all of eternity by converting it into a full-blown K-On! Museum, complete with the club room, Gita, and so much merch it'll make your wallet implode. But before you go changing into your slippers, you actually have to make it here. As far as I'm concerned, there are 2 options. If you're a free fan, then you can go ahead and brave Lake Biwa and swim 40 kilometers from Kyoto. Or just take the train. You do you. If you choose the latter, I actually recommend you stop by on your way from Tokyo to Kyoto, as the Shinkansen passes right through here and saves you a couple hours of travel time. But regardless of which way you're coming from, if you have a rail pass, your best bet is to hop on the Shinkansen to Maibara Station, which was one of the first places that I realized
I have a feeling we're not in
Tokyo
anymore.
From the Shinkansen platform, make your way upstairs and across this walkway, following signs for the Omi Tetsudo line, which of course aren't written in English, so just memorize this kanji. Got it? You'll know you're in the right place when it feels like you just walked into the 1800s, because you kinda did. The train line you're about to ride opened in 1898. That's over 120 years ago. So naturally, the ticket machine is actually just a nice old man. So make sure you practice saying, Toyosato e no chiketo ichimai onegaishimasu. Travel like this can be stressful, so in between panic attacks, do your best to look around and take in the beautiful historic scenery, which was honestly one of the coolest parts of this trip. The train only runs once an hour, so try not to be late. And make sure you hold on to your ticket, because you'll have to give it to the man in the hat on your way off. From Maibara, the journey only takes around 40 minutes, so no matter how beautiful a view of the Japanese countryside, try not to lose track of time, miss your stop, and backtrack 45 minutes on foot like I did. But you know what? On second thought, do exactly that. Walking through small town Shiga was actually a really rewarding experience, and gave me a better understanding of how the people living outside of major cities actually live. The architecture was fascinating, the views breathtaking, and the bakeries were delicious. But if you do get off at Toyosato Station, it's just a quick 10-minute stroll to the front gates, where you'll be greeted with a very familiar sight. The building to your left is a little K-On! Store, and a not-so-little merch museum that houses every type of merch imaginable, from figures to instruments and everything in between. The building to the right is the theater from K-On!, but I recommend heading into the main entrance and working your way there from inside. The school is full of iconic locations from the show, from classrooms to stairwells, and of course, the club room. But there are also a couple rooms just celebrating the historic town that are worth checking out. Entry to the school is completely free. There are no tickets or staff, so you're welcome to come and go as you please, as long as you're quiet, respectful, and most importantly, take off your shoes. Coming in at number 2 is the birthplace of Hachiyui. In my opinion, Kasai Rinkai Park is well worth a stop, regardless of if you're an OreGairu fan or not. Not only is there a ton of iconic locations from the season 2 finale, but there's also an aquarium, Ferris wheel, beach, bird garden, and observation deck with an incredible view of the sunset. And the best part? You don't even have to leave Tokyo. Getting here is as easy as hopping onto the nearest train, but I recommend taking the Rinkai line through Koto City, which is my favorite train ride in all of Tokyo. Without leaving your seat, you get views of the Rainbow Bridge, Tokyo Big Sight, and a ton of unique buildings and ports. Entrance to the park is totally free, and there's enough activities and food stalls that you could easily spend half a day or more here, following in the service club's footsteps. Japan is home to a few internationally renowned mega aquariums, like Osaka Kaiyukan or Tokyo Disney Sea. But what if you'd rather not wait in line for 3 hours and spend, holy $80 for one ticket. In my opinion, you're much better off just taking a stroll into Tokyo Sea Life Park in Kasai Rinkai, which will only set you back $7. And although this might look busy to you, by Tokyo standards, it's a barren wasteland. They've got a ton of cool fish, and some of them even resemble birds.
Penguins actually are birds.
Not to mention one of their fish suppliers happens to be Vancouver, BC. And I don't mean to brag, but we've got some pretty nice sand dabs around here. The Diamond and Flower Ferris wheel is 400 feet tall, only costs $7 to ride, and boasts some incredible views of the idiots who paid $80 to get into Tokyo Sea next door. It gets its name from the lit light show it puts on at night that resembles, yep, you guessed it, diamonds and flowers. If you only have room for one Ferris wheel in your life, I'd opt for the Palatine Daiken Rancha that you passed on your way here, which, in my opinion, has a better panoramic view of the city than the Diamond and Flower. But hey, you're young. Don't get tied down by one Ferris wheel. Enjoy a whole Ferris wheel harem if you'd like. Nobody's judging. Unlike the other locations on this list, you won't actually see any anime merch or snafu imagery around. But don't let that stop you from having a genuine good time. If you like OreGairu, men on tiny bikes, trains with faces, or cosplay photo shoots, Kasai Rinkai Park is the place for you. Number 7. Fuji-san to be exact. Yuru Camp aside, Mount Fuji might just be the most iconic mountain on the planet. Don't even at me, Everest stans. If your mountain's so great, which one is it? Don't know? How about this? Can you spot Fuji? I rest my case. If you're not a fan of Yuru Camp, pause this video and go watch it now. And now that you are, add Lake Motosu to your bucket list. Although there's a ton of amazing campsites from Yuru Camp that are worth visiting, I've chosen the Cone Campground at Lake Motosu for 2 reasons. First, what Japanese vacation is complete without a clear shot of Fuji-san? And the view from Motosuko is so nice that they put it on the back of the 1,000 yen bill. And second, it's one of the few campsites that is actually accessible by public transit. If you make your way to the iconic Fuji Yoshida, home of Fuji-Q Highland, or as I call it, the waiting in line simulator, you can take a bus from here that'll actually drop you off right at the campsite. But unfortunately, it only runs once a day, arriving at 11 a.m. and then departing at 2 p.m. So you'd be on a pretty tight schedule, which is why I actually recommend renting a car, which, if you split between your group, is actually pretty affordable in Japan. I know just how intimidating the idea of driving on the left side of the road can be, but trust me when I say, you're absolutely right, it's terrifying. But luckily, most of the drive is through some beautiful mountains, with not another car or person in sight. And after about an hour, you'll be totally used to their backwards way of life. You can drive the SS Weeb right down onto the beach and set up camp exactly where Rin and Nadeshiko did. But if camping's not your thing, you can easily stay in the lodge for around $60 a night, like I did, and wake up to a once-in-a-lifetime view out your window. Inside the lodge is a cafe, manga library, and Yuru Camp merch shop, where you can buy anything from posters to the classic curry ramen that Nadeshiko loves so much. The other advantage to renting a car is that once you're checked in, you're free to drive to a bunch of other Yuru campsites in the area that are completely inaccessible by transit. Fumotopara is 20 minutes away, and Lake Shibire 45, which is home to some of the only anime characters that actually exist. And apparently I didn't hide my starstruck expression well enough, because they instantly called me out for being a weeb.
You saw anime?
But seriously, they were super nice people, and taking a stroll around the lake is a great way to spend your afternoon. I don't know about you, but this travel ban's really got me feeling depressed, and fantasizing about my next trip to Japan is one of the only things keeping me going. So I really hope this video helped give you some ideas for your own anime expedition. To get a better idea of the locations in this video, make sure to click on this playlist here, which has vlogs of me traveling to all 3 spots as well as many more. And if there's only one thing you take away from this video, it should be that Mount Everest can kiss my